Welcome back to the free email marketing course for e-commerce brands that I'm doing on my YouTube channel, and in this module I'm going to be showing you guys exactly how to build a abandoned cart flow for your e-commerce brand. The abandoned cart flow is super important, so please do pay attention to this because it's not actually the same thing as the abandoned checkout flow. So when you see most videos and most people talk about like the abandoned cart flow, they actually are talking about the abandoned checkout flow, and the difference is the trigger. So the abandoned checkout flow, because it's high intent, also at checkout, you know, when they put in their email address, you're also capturing the email, it's going to have a higher volume. However, the abandoned cart flow still will generate a significant enough portion of revenue. However, it's just a little bit more complicated to build, since by default it's not a metric that's built into Klaviyo's native integration with Shopify. So in this module I'm going to show you exactly how to install the metric, and then I'm also going to be showing you how to build out the content for this flow specifically. So let's dive into it. So first things first, the metric that we're going to be looking at, and this is just a demo account, is the added to cart metric. You can see that if you were to go into your Klaviyo account, scroll down a little bit into the analytics section, under the metrics part, you'll see that there is an added to cart metric in this account. By default, you guys will not have this. If you guys don't have this, or have this but click into it and you see like a flat line essentially, that just means that it's either not installed correctly or your brand is too low in terms of volume. So let me show you how to actually install this metric, because you need this prior to getting started with building this flow. So you're going to go ahead over to Google and just search Klaviyo added to cart metric, and the first article that should appear is going to be something along the lines of like how to create an added to cart event in Shopify. You go onto that article and essentially just follow the instructions here. Of course, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to do it. So first thing that you need is you need to identify like where to actually put this little snippet of code. Because what this does is in any Shopify store, you'll always have the add to cart button, right? So let's say I just select grab this deal, it adds things to cart, right? So what this snippet of code does, it essentially puts a bit of code on this button itself that essentially listens for when this button is clicked. And when this button is clicked, it's going to fire the metric over in Klaviyo right here and trigger this flow as a result. Right? So that's what the code is essentially for, and we need to identify where to actually put the piece of code, and it just depends on what type of theme you have for your Shopify. So please watch this video, because you know this is where people go wrong, and if you don't pay attention, you're going to end up commenting like, oh, this video didn't work, right? So you're going to then add the snippet to your store and then test the code. So first of all, let's figure out where to actually put your code. First things first, you're going to need to go into your store. I'm just going to use this as the test store, right? And you're going to go into online store themes and then hit customize, right? So the first thing you're going to do is click the customize button. And then you're going to go to homepage, drop down, and then select product and select the default page, because if you sell multiple things, you're going to want to modify the default product page. So where it says homepage, go to products and then go to default product. Boom. Once you're in the default product section, you're then going to click add section at the left-hand side and see if you have a block called custom liquid. So what this is you're going to want to go all the way to this side, scroll all the way down, and then where it says here, click add section, scroll all the way down, and you can see in this specific instance, we have a custom liquid block, right? But what if you don't have this section, right? In which case you would go to this part of the section, which is basically online store themes, and then customize, and then click edit code. So let's pretend for a second, I'll go back to the custom liquid portion in a second. I just want to show you guys how to get to the code section of themes. So you're going to go into online themes, and then where it says the three dots, instead of clicking customize next to it, you're going to click edit code. So again, if you don't have the custom liquid section, you're going to click edit code and you're going to find the theme.liquid file. So I'm going to type in theme, and you can see it's theme.liquid right here. This is where you would add the snippet essentially. So if this was the case, then essentially just watch this little clip right here of them adding it. You're going to add the custom liquid. So you're going to go over to the custom.liquid section, add custom liquid, boom, add the section, and over here, there's going to be a little clip, right? What essentially that means is if you have other custom liquid sections and you need to move it up or down, you just simply, it just shows you how to like kind of drag and drop it up and down basically. You want to add it to the very bottom pretty much. Now, if your theme doesn't have the custom liquid blocks, so I'm just going to delete this one. You're going to go over to your theme.liquid and you're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom. This is essentially where we're going to add the code. And if your theme doesn't have the custom.liquid block, you're going to go over to the theme.liquid code section and you're going to scroll all the way down here and you're going to add the snippet right before where it closes the body tag. So don't add it here, don't add it here, and don't add it below the HTML. It needs to be added right above the body tag, right here. So I like to do it like this. That's essentially where you want to copy and paste the code. So let's see where the code is. This is the actual snippet for the script, right? So I'll demo how to add the custom liquid section, and then I'll also demo the code version of this. So if I were to add a custom liquid block, right? I'm going to go into the custom liquid and just going to hit paste, boom, following the instructions as said here. So you essentially just add section, then select custom liquid, paste the snippet in, and you're basically good to go. And then you're going to hit save. That's basically that. I'm going to delete this obviously because there's no need to have this section in here. But essentially that's for that section. And then if I were to add it here, the first thing I need to do is actually have a if statement open. So if product, so I'm just going to copy this section first, if product, and then I'm going to close this right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and copy the snippet in between. So you can see this is what it should look like, right? Snippet goes between the two ifs. And then I'm just going to go here, copy the code. If I'm going a little fast, feel free to just pause this video as needed. And then you're just going to hit save. Once this is saved, obviously, because I've already installed this in the past, I'm just going to delete this and hit save. The metric should already work for this specific test store, but basically you want to hit save and the metric is installed. Again, if you go over here, you probably wouldn't see it at first straight away, just because the metric has never fired. Once it's fired, that's when you'll see the metric inside of your analytics dashboard, right? So we're gonna go ahead and test it. First things first, in order to test it, you're gonna wanna go to your home page and then just add the end, and then just add the following to the end of the URL. So if I were to show you on this demo store, it would be this right here. I need to make sure the right email is cookied essentially. So let's figure out an email that I can cookie, BZ acquisitions. Okay, so we'll do replace testing with an email that's already in your database. So now it's cookied, and then reload the page, just literally following the steps, honestly. And then navigate to your product page and then click the add to cart button. So in my case, it will be going over to, let's just search like Leo or something, like a Leo necklace, boom. Going over here and then clicking add to cart, boom, there you go. So now that's done, you will then go into the profile and then you should see the add to cart metric has literally just been fired. This is the product. If you see this on the profile, it means you're good to go. And now we're ready to actually build the flow itself. So I'm just gonna go ahead and close out these tabs that I used, and we're gonna go straight into building the flow. In order to build the abandoned cart flow, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use an example of a flow that we designed for a brand that we worked with a while ago, and I'm gonna show you exactly how to build this flow inside of Klaviyo right now. So obviously we do our designs inside of Figma. However, you can also choose to design within Canva, which is what I teach in this free course that I have. And as a bonus for watching this tutorial, one of the things I've actually built for you guys is a gallery with over 250 email templates that my team and I have designed over the past few months that I've put inside of a Figma file. If you want access to this, just simply sign up to my Ecom Elite newsletter. It's completely free. I give out ecom growth tips every single week. You'll get access to not only this, but also a bunch of other D2C growth resources that you might find useful when it comes to growing your e-commerce brand. This file is literally so large that the creatives aren't loading and it's taking a while, but yeah, this is the file you'll get access to from a view-only perspective. and you'll be able to draw inspiration and use this as like a swipe file essentially for all of your email designs. Now, when it comes to building this flow out itself, you're gonna first of all want to go inside of Klaviyo, go over to create a flow, and then instead of using any of these, you're gonna search cart. And once you find cart, you're gonna scroll down a little bit, and the thing that you want to look for is the added to cart trigger. So once you see this, you're going to click here, and we're going to name this Plethora Free Email Course Demo. In your case, you would just put the brand name and abandoned cart flow, right? So you can see the prerequisites for this, Shopify integration is enabled, and then you're all set in terms of the added to cart metric being synced. So these two should be a green tick for you. If it's not, rewatch this video and also follow the steps on the document by Klaviyo religiously, because they do change that every 3 months, also like 3 to 6 months. So just to make sure there's not any updates, make sure you go through that. And if you see the 2 green ticks, that means you're good to go. You're then gonna hit create a flow, and we're gonna build this out together. So by default, Klaviyo has this as a 2 email long sequence. You can generally keep this between 2 to 4 emails long, just depends on the sales cycle of your brand. So in this case, for example, we have a 3 email long sequence by Lola Lashes that we're gonna build out. And essentially we're gonna go over to trigger, and then we're gonna see in the profile filters, checkout started 0 times since starting this flow, placed order 0 times. So this is actually a-okay. The only flow trigger we're gonna add, the only profile filter we're gonna add is just to exclude people who have been in this flow in the last 7 days. So in the last 7 days, if they've been through this flow, we exclude them from the flow. This just prevents people from entering and exiting the flow too often so that they don't get the same emails every single day and eventually unsubscribe, right? Second thing I want to do is I always like to shorten the delay. By default, it's 4 hours. Doesn't really make sense. Reason being is because if it's 4 hours long and I'm adding something to cart at like 10 p.m., let's say, right? 4 hours later is 2 a.m. You're going to kill the open rates. Whereas if I add something at, let's say, 10 p.m. and it's midnight, I'm probably most likely still awake. You see what I mean? So that's why I always like to shorten this delay. And in terms of the second delay, this again is too long. I like to keep this 22 hours. It's basically you want these 2 first delays to total 24 hours. Reason being is because we always have a very similar schedule when it comes to checking our cell phones, right? So in terms of maximizing someone's chances of actually seeing your email, you want to kind of sync when you send the emails to about the same window when people are most likely checking their phones, which is why we do it this way. So I'm just going to set that to 22 hours, and we can go ahead and configure the emails. By default, I do not know why, but for whatever reason, Klaviyo always has skip recently emailed profiles with smart sending. I think this is just because when someone adds to cart, it might be they've already recently received a campaign. However, what we found is even if we send people multiple emails, it actually just gets people to buy more. So like I always like to turn smart sending off, especially for email 1 of flows, right? We don't want too many skipped profiles. So first things first, in terms of customizing the email, we always want to start with customizing the subject line, preview text, sender name, and sender email address, right? Once this is all done, you're going to hit save, and then that's when we'll dive into building out the content itself. So by default, you can see that the snippet is already customized, right? So we want to actually delete everything except for this section right here. We're going to customize that in a second. But pretty much, we're going to go over here, delete this section, and for this, we're also going to delete the section. So we're only left with this. The way I like to build out emails is always through images, right? Again, a lot of email marketers give me hate on this, and quite frankly, they just don't really know what they're doing. So the reason why we like to build it out in images, it not only saves us time, but also, yes, you can say, yeah, like really heavy emails like decreased deliverability. However, if we're doing literally 9 out of the 10 things right when it comes to deliverability, trust me when I say this, like adding a lot of images to your emails is not the problem here, right? HTML is just too complicated to build out, and if you're a brand and you're hearing about email marketers saying, hey, we should do emails with HTML, all of this, not only is it going to make your emails look worse, but also it's just a huge headache to actually get it done right? And it's just not worth the time. So if you're a smaller brand, it's simply not worth it. And even if you're a bigger brand, as long as you know how to maintain deliverability, it's completely fine. So we're gonna go ahead and export this, right? So if you remember in my previous modules about how to actually build out emails inside of Klaviyo, we use something called the slicing tool, right? So we're just gonna hit S on Figma, and then we're just gonna export these in slices. So first slice is gonna be like this, second slice is gonna be from here all the way down, and we're gonna end the email right here, boom. So that's slice 1 and 2 completed, and we're just gonna export these as JPEGs. Now it's crucial that you export these as JPEGs and not PNGs, because if you export these as PNGs, you see the white area? On dark mode, what's gonna happen is that white area is gonna look gray because it's gonna export it as a transparent image, and that just looks horrible, right? So we always wanna export in JPEGs. That's like a really cool hack. Lola Lashes, abandoned cart, email 1, let's call it that. And then we're gonna export slice number 2 as well. Export slice 2, boom. Lola Lashes, abandoned cart, 1.1 for the slices, naming convention, and then we're just gonna go ahead and upload the images right here. So first of all, go over to downloads and then go to slice 1, boom, uploading, give it a second. And then we're gonna add in our alt text. Oh no, you forgot something. In terms of like an easy hack basically for alt text is you just want to enter what the main point of the image is. Lola Lashes. Oh no, you forgot something. And in terms of link address, we just want to enter the link for the cart page, right? So when it comes to your cart page, it's normally just brandname.com/cart. So obviously just figure out where your cart page is and then send them back to that. And then the second thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add the second image to complete the email. And then we're gonna go ahead and upload image like so, 1.1, boom. And then wait for it to upload and then add in the alt text and the link address as well. So image uploaded, alt text is click here to return to cart, and maybe just add a bit of copy as well. Unlock lashes of your dreams, whatever. Right? And then in terms of link address, you want to link it to the same link as here. And now let's customize the dynamic segment. So for the image, don't worry too much about that. Just simply add the alt text, added to cart product. We're going to call it like that. Event URL, it's fine. And then over on the text side, we're just going to go ahead and customize this, right, to the brand fonts. So if I remember correctly, look, if you can't find your brand fonts exactly on here, just pick something relatively similar. So you can see Poppins is kind of similar. And then in terms of this, we're also going to use Poppins, but we're not going to use a bold Poppins. So we're just going to call it Poppins normal, let's say, right? And for this, the color obviously does not align. So in terms of colors, we want to pretty much use black, since that's what their colors are like. So text color, you're just gonna select black right here. And the reason why this is, by the way, is just like the link is like that. So boom, apply, there you go. So now you can see the color is black and everything looks pretty much much better. And yeah, what's gonna happen now is whenever someone receives this email, they're gonna have the product right in here. So if I were to hit preview and test, right? Obviously the product is gonna be wrong because it's for a different brand, but you can see it pulls in the first image of the product and then also the price and everything right here. Ignore this, simply this is a test store, so this is actually an inactive product. But if you customize the product right, everything's gonna look fine for your brand. So once you hit save, right? This email is pretty much ready to go live. You're then just gonna do the same for emails 2 and 3, and then you'll be able to toggle the flow live. And in terms of results, this flow should generate around 20-ish% of what your abandoned checkout flow does. So if your abandoned checkout flow is gonna generate $100,000 a month for you, then this one should add around another $20,000 a month or so. That's basically it for building out abandoned cart flows. As I said, if you want access to this entire swipe file of over 250 email templates, you can see all of the creators have been loaded in now. Feel free to join my mailing list because it's completely free. I give out free value in terms of how to actually grow e-commerce brands on there. So just sign up. I'll email you this link as a opt-in bonus. And if you're an e-com brand that's doing over 50K a month, you should book in a call with myself. I'm more than happy to take a look at your Klaviyo completely free of charge and see if there's any value for us to be added in terms of working together. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next module of this free course.